All right, so we look at the video game Killer Instinct, right? Certain video games that prove my point: Tekken, Killer Instinct, right? These names also have spiritual significance, wordplay, and so on and so forth, right? Killer Instinct, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. Certain video games that really embody what they're doing and why. Okay. Life and death. Killer Instinct basically has people who are seen as gods, so to speak, in video games from various perspectives, right? In video game form. There are combos void of spirit, and then there is a natural and instinctual strike and strikes. You look at the boxer, almost all of them pretty much are, I go as far as to say all of them, are in a kind of worldly energy refined by science. It is void of spirit. I have done it that way myself in my life. It is empty. It is stupid. You have a certain feeling of, oh, I executed that movement almost perfectly. So what? You can get that from driving on the freeway, right? Boom, boom. I cut this guy off. I made my exit. Woo! There's nothing spiritual about that. There's nothing profound about that. You just mastered a technique or you got lucky. Who fucking cares? There is footwork to avoid a lunging animal. Then there are science-based fixed positions. Science is man's pitiful mind trying to understand God. And religion is raw connecting to what man could never be when it is in the divine martial art order with no ill-gotten gains. Defined, right? Defined. Again, if the idea is true, who cares if this is even what the wordplay was meant? But I assure you, it is. Ra Legion. Ra leg eye on. Skywalking. Ion Iunu or Heliopolis. Ra's called center. Ra's only begotten son, the archetype of Pharaoh. Har, where, har, war, her, war, and so on. The skywalking scale. Scale backwards is E lax. Lose backwards. E soul. If you take on their worldly perspective, you lose your soul. E loses their soul. That's even what loses backwards. They are mocking you with this thing. They're like, yes, that's what it is. Like, what do you think? Why do you think they come out, they embrace evil? If they could embrace good and justify it anyway, they would have done that. They embrace evil all fucked in the head because they have worked the angles as fallen angels and have realized that their ill-gotten gains definitively prevent them from connecting to God. Without someone like me controlling reproduction by truly being revered and loved and respected to the highest degree by man, where pretty much everybody is willing to die, next to Pharaoh in a moment. If you are not willing to die by my side in a moment, on a moment's notice, as soon as I say, you are not right with God. You are not right with the Creator. You are going in the wrong direction. Anything short of that is the wrong direction. If your reproduction isn't consistent with how I've defined how the reproductive cycle should be, as I've been open to advisors and arguments to the contrary, I've even gone as far as to consider people's views. And no more powerful counter-argument can be made. Do you love the Lord thy God with all your mind, all your heart, and all your soul if you cannot create a more viable counter-argument? Man can confuse non-African Sun Temple martial artists about experiencing the marshaling spirit of the Creator. When I am using my instincts and not science and these systems that are void of spirit to outmaneuver and strike my enemy, that is the Lord marshaling society. Do animals use science to breed and eugenic ideas? And how the fuck do you think it could be compatible with nature and the supernatural? No, you cannot accept this eugenic culture, this corporate-sponsored various mental health kind of cultures and be right with nature and the Creator. You're unnatural. You have to domesticate animals for them to like you. They don't feel the spirit in you and have some kind of profound interaction. They're like, what the hell kind of abomination am I looking at? That's why they're standing around. Not because they feel some kind of divine spirit within you. They simply have no bearings And other people that seem spiritual are like the allegory of Plato's cave, just psychology-based shadows. You are looking at the shadow of a fallen person, and you think that he is a spiritual leader. How could he be? If he does not fall in line with the true martial arts order and does not even begin to address that argument, how could he be? How could the Lord take a man with righteous indignation and make him prevail naturally over another man? Spirit, it's right there in the wordplay. They're speaking in English, not Hebrew, when they teach the Bible. It's their wordplay. How could he take that man and allow him to triumph with righteous indignation and no ill-gotten gains? And for that not to be good. How could that happen if it is not the will of the Creator? The reason why the sandal bearer is depicted respecting Narmer more than any depiction of respect I have ever seen, and probably anywhere, is the Spirit of the Creator through his moral, righteous indignation, Narmer's, with no ill-gotten gains. Okay? That is what created that. Look at that, the Narmer palette. Okay, it's about 6 minutes. Okay, look at the Narmer palette. Okay? Look at the sandal bearer with the black belt, right? He's wearing the black belt. This is a martial arts marshaling. I can't stress that enough. Look at his face. It is this seriousness. It is this reverence. That is the archetype of Pharaoh nobody denied. Everyone started the infighting and the pettiness and the me. Oh, my cult should be in charge. Bitch shit. After the true archetype of Pharaoh was gone. How could they change the characteristics of Pharaoh and still be right with the true spiritual direction of humanity? They could not. Just like the Bible was wrong to take Potipharah and marry her to Joseph. It should have been the other way around. It should have been a female Jew married to a male priest, if anything. But certainly, even that would have been wrong. Because by that time, by that point in Egypt, Egypt was moving in the wrong direction. So we look at Shu as a witness. His name means to be empty. Right? He doesn't have Narmer. He doesn't have Shu Kwa Make A. Why? Because you need the Kwa, you need the Hak. Backwards with the H is the fence removed. Remove the fence around the hawk. What is coming between you and Pharaoh, remove it from your mind and go submit to that Pharaoh that dies with me. That's what the hawk is. Also, it's backwards, right? It's English, right? Kwa, hawk. Their definition is backwards. It emphasizes the flesh of that animal over the spiritual message it is conveying. That's why anima means spirit. The 5th dynasty started going in the wrong direction. Started being empty vessels. Osiris is the Lord of the dead. They're empty vessels. They're dead inside. There is no life following Osiris. Amun-Ra, right? It goes back to this one, there's no life in the West, so to speak, the land of the dead. So when they did their Saturn role reversal thing, certainly when you look at it, this is where you get Nigeria, right? It's where the sun set in the land of the dead. Okay. The Pharaoh, this is why I believe Nietzsche said God is dead. Because the followers of Horus the Elder settled in the West, okay, the land of the dead. Okay, Amun-Ra is said to be hiding what is left of the proof of the spirit of Ra, the hidden, to hide. Hades hides. And so we look at the native effect, right, versus the martial effect, the martyr effect. Natives, indigenous people from across the planet, they have been reduced to where they can never truly create a hero in their culture. A Narmer, a crazy horse. Why? Because I am the last. I am a relic of the past, delivering the true message of your most noble ancestors who were trying to follow Narmer. Then the crooked ones took over. You're a fool if you think that when the colonists came, it was the first time crooked people took over a group of indigenous people. It's insane to see it that way. Did the Aztecs not conquer small tribes and assimilate them? It's insane to assume that every one of your tribes and cultures has this profoundly true point of view. It is a reaction to the martial arts order. It is the usurping of the righteous. You think it took man like several 100,000 years to start to usurp the righteous when the colonists came? So the native effect versus the martyr effect. When somebody accepts being reduced and assimilated, okay, they are losing manhood. They are losing respectability. When somebody rises in the true spirit and they are being martyred, this is a correct idea that we can extract from the Bible. They are increasing this. A man who mans up, the top martial artist manning up as I have been, and given they're basically caused to have photophobia. There's weight loss. Their intensity is reduced. Their manhood isn't reduced. The soul is like a container. Okay, it contains the work of the Creator. And if you are injured in combat, it is like a badge of honor. Even the army or whatever, they have the Purple Heart, right? You have a badge of honor. Women should be more drawn to me as I am reduced, not less. When your parents are on their deathbed, do you say, you are reduced, I'm not going to go to you? You should be more drawn to them and not less. I am greater than the martyrs of the past because they didn't have the opportunity to face modern pressures. They didn't face the kind of persecution that I face. They're not telling the truth the way I have in recorded history. I am greater than any martyr known to man. Greater than Narmer I am. Defeat Narmer in natural ancient combat I could, because my family followed the true martial arts direction of humanity. I have yet to meet another family that has. The Statue of Liberty effect, the naked woman under a cloak. Okay? Don't forget that reference I made in the video before this. In order for people to give their heroes credit and to honor them, they must look at themselves and the others, the other people of theirs, the others amongst their kind, and other peoples, to see why they are less. For them to be special, you must see the contrast. Certainly the oppressor focus on the contrast. That's why they do eugenics. That's why they sabotage the wisest and the best. That's why they keep people like me from presenting themselves in a way that is truly attractive to women. To this day, I can't go in public and talk to a female. If I go to a restaurant, doubt it not. Do you think that I could, dress humbly? Certainly I wouldn't wear this to a restaurant, but dress humbly. You think I could talk to a waitress and she's going to give me her number? Now, what if I was a rich, despicable pharmaceutical dog, some fucking banker scum? How much more would my chances improve? You call this respectable judgment? Are waitresses the richest people in America? Does this change if it's an average attractive woman at the mall, at the library, at a bookstore? No, it doesn't. Education does not create morality. It creates a despicable cowards that should have listened to people like me. That's what I see. This thing is top heavy. It is the trickle down immorality. And certainly the people in the upper classes and the upper middle classes have their college education, their Ivy League education. Did it enable them to stand with me? And for whose benefit? Do these Berzelius bitches defy the Creator and the most noble of their ancestors? For whose benefit? My goodness!